Don't go to nobody's house talking about we about to Netflix and chill, and the only like evidence you have of them even existing is the pictures they posted on Tinder. And so she was just like, well, you know, that's just not me. And I'm like, girl, do you have to be yourself on vacation? Child, slide in them DMs. Mexican guys be like, nah, because you about to meet my grandma, my abuelita. You gonna meet her la próxima semana. Hi guys, it's Karina Worldwide coming back to you with another video. Guys, I know I've been gone for about 3 months. Like I haven't done a video in so long and so much has happened. But I'm back now. Still living in Mexico. I'm still living in Playa del Carmen. I've been here for 10 months now. Like I still can't believe that I'm living in Mexico, which is crazy because I mean, I've lived in Thailand, I've lived in China, but I'm now living in my 4th country. So it's pretty cool. So even though it's October here in Playa del Carmen, it is still pretty hot. And I went on a date. Like I'm coming back from a date. I've had like 3 margaritas and I was like, you know what? Let me do a video while I'm off the margaritas and I'm dewy and shiny as heck from the sweat. Let me do a video, right? And so since I went on a date, I thought it would be pretty dope to talk about dating life in Mexico. There's 2 things that people often ask me about. What is it like living in Mexico as a Black woman? Then they always be wanting to know, what is my love life like? And I just be like, y'all some nosy people. But no, I don't be like that. I actually be excited to kind of talk about what I got going on in terms of like dating and stuff, because I feel like it is kind of taboo when people travel or live abroad to venture out and date. And so this video is to help that person that might be hesitant about exploring and, you know, dating abroad and taking advantage of those dating opportunities, the dating apps. We're gonna talk about that. Now, before we start, let me put a disclaimer out there. This is my personal experience. I am not the voice of all Black women. I am not the voice of the foreigners. I am not the voice of American women. I am not the voice of anyone except for Karina. Let me put that out there because people legit will come and just be like, oh, that must be how it feels to be a Black woman dating in a different country. Maybe, but I know this is my experience. This is also a judgment-free zone because like I said, y'all about to get all up in my business. There's a lot of men out here. And I'm not just talking about like here, like in your native country, there's men all over the world that be interested in, you know, dating and getting to know you. So why not venture out? Or women? I don't know what your vice is. I am an advocate for dating and enjoying these experiences when you're traveling abroad. I am not an advocate for not using common sense. Don't go to nobody's house talking about we about to Netflix and chill, and the only like evidence you have of them even existing is the pictures they posted on Tinder. Do not do that. Use common sense. I'm an advocate, girl. Live your best life. And the cool thing about living your best life is what people know is based on what you want to share. So if people start being all up in your business, it's because you did a YouTube video talking about your business and your dating life, like me. But anywho, Mexico to me is completely different from my dating life in China or in Thailand, or in different parts of the world, like specifically in Asia, because of beauty standards. That's one of the biggest differences. I'm, you know, Black, I'm tall, I'm 5'10", and I'm plus size. So in terms of beauty standards, that's not really viewed as beautiful in China. I do think the good thing about dating in Mexico is the beauty standards. They're not looking, in my personal experience, they're not looking at you as, oh, she's Black. Now, there are some people who definitely fetishize Black women. So you have situations where people are like, I ain't never been with a Black woman before. They don't use that accent, of course, but I just sound like a slave. I've never been with a Black woman before. You know, I want to experience a Black woman, but I think they see it as beautiful, as opposed to when I was living in China where they're just like, you know, I'm looking for a big booty Black woman, which is what I got on Tinder one time from a Chinese guy because of the music videos they've seen. But in Mexico, they're so accustomed to seeing Black women, whether it's short term because they're on vacation or, you know, even if they're just living here, that it's kind of like, you don't have to worry about them taking pictures of you. The stares, yes, people are gonna stare, but it's not like how in China they stare. The stare is completely different. Like in China, they give you a stare like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Le why. In Mexico, they staring at you like, So in China, of course, if you're dating foreigners, they're probably on a visa, right? Whether it's like an employment visa, tourist visa, whatever visa they're on, they have to have a visa to come to China, right? But most people, if they're going to China and they're on a visa, they're gonna stay for at least 6 months or more, right? So you have more time to build a connection with someone. Mexico is right next door to the States. It is literally like a 2.5-hour flight from where I am. Some people, if you're in Miami, child, you could just swim there. A lot of people, when they come to Mexico, they're like legit coming on vacation. So it is a little more difficult for you to build those connections with someone who is only gonna be here for 4 or 5 days. There is nothing wrong with having fun for 4 or 5 days. If somebody is here for, a weekend and they wanna wine and dine you and they wanna have a good time with you, okay, cool. Always set your expectations and be upfront though. Because it is very easy for some people to fall in love in like 3 days and then they be like, don't go. Child, you knew what this was. Like, stop playing yourself. That is another big difference between dating in Mexico and dating when you're in a country that's far off, like China. Because there's a possibility that this person is probably on vacation. And women lie, men lie. So some people be like, oh, I'm gonna be here. I'm thinking about being here for like 3 months or 7 months. And next thing you know, you call them and they're like, yeah, I'm on the plane back. Actually, it sounds like a personal situation I dealt with where I liked this guy and we were having a good time for like a week. Like, we saw each other every day, had a good time. And then he was just like, I have to tell you something on like the 6th day. And I'm like, oh, what's up? And he was like, yeah, I'm going back home. And I'm like, oh, okay. Cause I go home like every month, every 2 months. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, okay. And he was like, like, I'm going home to live. And I'm like, wait, I thought you lived here. And he was like, no, I didn't live here. I said I was thinking about moving here. I never said I lived here. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that's right. He never said that. Like, my feelings weren't hurt because we were only around each other for 7 days. Now, he did wine and dine me and make me feel like a little queen, but I wasn't like, no, when he did leave. If you are looking just for fun and you're not looking for love, that is right up your alley. Go ahead and have fun with these men that's on these resorts or having vacation time, just chilling on their beach with their mans in them. And you're gonna have a good time because they're trying to have a good time, right? But just like I said, being transparent and knowing, like, setting my expectations. This person is probably not gonna be here for a long time. Then you don't get your feelings hurt and you don't get in your feelings because you really know you're just having a good time. If you've ever been on 5th Avenue, which is probably the most popular street in Playa del Carmen, that's where all of the touristy bars are. That's where all of the shops are. If you've ever walked on there, you've heard someone ask you, do you want a Mexican boyfriend? So if you're not accustomed to that, you really will fall into that trap of thinking like, all these Mexican men, they want me to be their girlfriend. Meanwhile, they just say that to everyone who's passing by. Like, it ain't nothing special. One of the issues with that, and I think specifically women, I don't know if men face this because I've never had a man tell me like, I'm dealing with people catcalling me. I'm walking past the beauty salon and the women like, woo, Negrita, ooh, papi. I've never heard that. However, I've heard a lot of women say that they've dealt with that, and I've dealt with it personally as well. So when you're coming to Mexico, you are going to encounter the catcalling, them, saying things to you, or even if it's something that's subtle, because it don't really be subtle, as wow, when you walk past, you are going to get that. I'm all about feminism and women like, no, you will not talk to me like that. But I'm all about always making sure I get home safe. And I don't have time to be popping off because someone said wow or oh, mommy or something like that. I don't have time to be popping off because you will be popping off a lot if you're walking up and down the touristy spots or on 5th Avenue. But catcalling is at an all-time high and they be with it. And I've gotten it all from guys, commenting on my butt or, brown chocolate, caramel. So whenever they say to me like, you want a Mexican boyfriend? I just always say, tengo un novio mexicano, pero gracias. I have a Mexican boyfriend, but thanks. And then they're usually like, oh, really? Y'all heard my Spanish though? Yeah. But it actually has gotten much better than before when I used to just say, sí, no, gracias. It is much better. But I just tell them I have a Mexican boyfriend, or I'll say, mi esposo es mexicano, pero gracias. My husband is Mexican, but gracias. Well, but thank you. And it just depends on how I feel, because sometimes you'll get me like not saying anything. I won't even respond. I just act like they pictures on the street. Keep it moving. Sometimes I'll be having a husband who is Mexican. Sometimes I have a boyfriend who is Mexican. Sometimes I have I don't need a Mexican man. It just depends on how I'm feeling, because sometimes I'm just like, maybe I have all three. Shoot. You, the husband, and the boyfriend. How about that? You cannot fight everybody on Fifth Avenue, because you will get it a lot. And one thing I've learned by like being friends with Mexicans or hanging around with Mexicans, they to me are like black people. If they know that your feelings are hurt and they know that you are sensitive, oh, they're gonna crank it up a notch. Like, they will keep it going now because they know that they got under your skin. So it's just best to just ignore them and go about your day. Like, okay, I need a Mexican boyfriend. I'm brown sugar. Keep it going. If you are black, or even like a person of color, because I've had people who aren't black and they've told me that they've experienced someone calling them Morena, right? It's like someone, like a brown skin person, a black person of darker skin complexion, Morena. And some people are like, that's derogatory. You are just gonna get used to it. Like, no matter what, they will call you Morena. And then also, I learned this from a guy I was dating. He called me Negrita. And I was like, Negrita? Sound a little bit like the N-word to me. So I was like, Negrita? No, I'm not your Negrita. And he was like, no. My mom even calls my dad that because he has like a darker complexion. He's darker than you. It's just like a term of endearment. And I was like, nah, well, call me bae or babe or nothing, or just Karina, but don't call me Negrita. So that brings me to the question that a lot of people always ask me. Have you ever dated a Mexican man? Yes, I've dated 2 Mexican guys. One, I don't know why I was gonna go straight to height. One was taller than me and one was shorter than me. It doesn't matter. But yes, I dated 2 Mexican guys. And what I've learned from dating them, they're completely different occupations, different personalities, different upbringing, is that there are some things that are similar because of culture. Like Mexican men, sometimes they can be very, very emotional and jealous and territorial. I've also learned that family is a big thing. Like, if you stick around long enough when you're dating a Mexican guy, you going to his mama house for dinner, or you're gonna meet his family, you're going to a cookout. I've also learned that the difference to me in Mexican men and a lot of the other men from different cultures that I've dated is they don't have no chill. Like, the first month that you start hanging out with them more and you're catching feelings, they're catching feelings, they want to know, like, where we going with this? Mexican guys be like, nah, because you about to meet my grandma, my abuelita, you gonna meet her la próxima semana, and so I need to make sure that when you meet her next week that it's just you and I, two of you. Like, they're very quick to just be like, this is how I feel, this is what I want. And I'm accustomed to guys kind of being very chill, going with the flow, which is not a bad thing, because sometimes you need that. You need somebody to just be like, no, I like you, you like me, where are we going with this? Like, as opposed to, oh, it's roses and daisies, whatever happens, happens. No, sometimes I want a man that's gonna be like, listen, I like you, what's good? When I think about the 2 Mexican guys that I dated, I always think back to one of my previous videos I made about dating life in China, right? And how I was just like, before moving to China, my whole thing in terms of dating preferences was he gotta be black, he gotta be tall, gotta be funny, gotta have money. And then when you move abroad, you realize he might not have all 4, but there are other qualities that attract you to him. So he ain't black, but he's tall and he's funny. Now it's not really about, is he black? It's really about, how do you make me feel? How do you treat me? But before it was like, you ain't black, bye. You ain't tall, bye. But now I'm like, okay, you're Mexican, that's cool. When they like you, they go the extra mile. And that's exactly why I do enjoy dating when I'm traveling. Not even just living abroad, but traveling. Because I've learned, like, when you're going out with a guy and he is a local, oh baby, this man trying to show you around. He wants to impress you. He wants to take you to the best spots. He wants to be the person that you come to while you're on a trip. And so I love that. Like, I love like being able to explore and experience a country from a local's perspective. I'm always upfront, like, yeah, I leave in like 3 days. And if I'm not sure that I really want to hang out with them too long, I'll be like, yeah, I'll leave tomorrow. So what we doing today? Yeah, let's build this itinerary today, because I only got 24 hours to give and I only got 24 hours to live. So how can you meet people when you're living abroad or traveling abroad? Child, utilize your dating sites. So before I moved to China, I was like, oh, I'm not using Tinder. Tinder's for people who can't find somebody in real life. Ugh. And I would turn my little nose, not my little nose, I would turn my big nose up to Tinder, like, yuck. But when you get in a situation where you're not used to seeing people who look like you start trying to find ways to have those experiences. Even when I'm just traveling and I know I'm not gonna be there a long time, I utilize Tinder. I've gotten like free photo shoots, of course, free like dinners, hung out, free tours, just off of Tinder, right? Once again, use common sense. You will get people who are just like, I wanna experience a black woman, or just, hey, you wanna, you know? Like SEX, but the F word. But it's just like, why do I need to go back and forth to prove a point to you? You don't know me, I don't know you. I legit just unmatch or block them and then keep it moving, that's it. And I do wanna say this too. I think as women, a lot of times we're like, I'm a lady, Shanae voice. And you having an experience that you want to have does not make you any less of a lady. You are enjoying yourself. Make sure you are protecting yourself. But if you are enjoying yourself, go ahead and live your best life. If you feel a connection and you want to have fun, go for it. And then keep it to yourself. Like, that's the problem too. People be sharing too much. That's why I like traveling solo. Learn to keep some stuff to yourself. Not saying that it has to be that, but if that's something that you experience, there are so many women who are just like, I have morals. And it's like, girl, bye. Shut up. And enjoy yourself. Don't let anybody talk you out of, do whatever you want to do as an adult, a consenting adult. Also, Instagram, like, let them hashtags work for you. Hashtag find your man. Don't use that hashtag, because I'm pretty sure it's like a broad one, like a couple billion posts. But if you're traveling to a country, you can definitely put like hashtag the country you're going to, and then you just start scrolling and you might see something that catches your eye. Slide in those DMs. So when we were in Zanzibar, my friend was like, I'm attracted to this guy, and we exchanged contacts on WhatsApp, but I'm gonna wait to see if, he hits me up. And I was like, girl, we're only here for 3 more days. What if he doesn't? And so she was just like, well, that's just not me. And I'm like, girl, do you have to be yourself on vacation? Child, slide in them DMs. It's not like, take the initiative, especially if you're not gonna be there for a long time. You never know what could happen. You never know about the great time or the experience you can have. So all of that, I'm just gonna wait for him to hit me up. If he doesn't hit you up, then what? You done sat there for 3 days. And if you don't care, then that's cool. Just hang with your girls who are actually signing in DMs and having the time of their life with their husbands in this country that they probably won't see ever again. But who cares? Because they're just having the time of their life. And you're sitting there as a 3rd or 5th or 7th wheel. Oh, good. That was kind of cool that I did the odd number so fast. Because if it's like 6, that's 3 couples and then you. Damn, I'm good. If you guys exchange numbers, there's nothing wrong with hitting them up first. Like, hey, this is such and such and such. Like, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's go for lunch. And like I said earlier, they be trying to impress, and they will impress, and they'll do a great job. And I want to say this. Dating abroad has really gotten me out of my comfort zone. Because before, I was one of those women where I was like, I'm not texting you first. Well, we just won't be talking then. And then you realize it is nothing wrong with texting him first. It is nothing wrong with initiating a conversation. And it works for me, and hopefully it will work for you. If I did not touch base on something that you were interested in learning about in terms of my dating life abroad, definitely leave it in the comments, and I will respond to you guys. And I might do another follow-up video. Who knows? I might find love here in Mexico. I might have some Blaxican babies. I might not go back to the States. Who knows what's going on? But I do know that I'm enjoying myself and I'm enjoying this experience. And I've learned so much about Karina and even in terms of like patience with dating. Like I've learned patience and not overanalyzing situations. It is what it is. If that's what they tell you it is what it is. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you can stay up to date on what's going on in Karina's world. It is Karina, and bye.